here with Armin Krauss from Avantgarde, and we're going to discuss the new Duo Grosso G2 speaker that has been announced here at CES and will be available in Australia very soon. Thank you, Armin. What can you tell us about the Duo Grosso G2?
Well, the Grosso as a model exists for 5 or 6 years now. Is it 6 years now? It's one of our biggest Duo models, and we call it the Grosso because it features 12-inch bass drivers instead of the regular 10-inch bass drivers of the regular Duo models. And in the G2 version, which is now available since the end of 2009, but is here premiered for the US, we are using a new frame. So we have now a bass frame that is made from casted aluminium with top operated micro leveling spikes, and we have also upgraded the amplifier module of the bass, which is always active with our speakers, and are using new bass drivers which are now with neodymium magnets.
Sure. Now the amplification, what type of amplification do you use for the bass drivers?
We're using regular AB mode amplifiers with linear power supplies. And we are using, in the Grosso model, we are using one amplification board per driver.
Right.
So each board is 250 watts.
Yes.
So we have 500 watts of amplifier power per side available.
Right. Now you have a line of amplifiers that supports your speakers. Are you going to launch a new amplifier for this range of products, or?
We will.
Right.
We will. The Model 3 that we are currently playing as well is a tool, you could say.
Yes.
It's a benchmark amplifier which gives a performance that we think is very, very well displaying what our speakers can do on more or less all the audiophile, sections that you usually, or the boxes you need to tick.
Yes.
Yeah? We are not so presumptuous to say that it's the amplifier for our speakers, but it proved to be very, very good. And we never advertise it. There is no review existing. And still, we're at serial number 400 now.
Right.
So, people that try it very often buy it.
Right. Are you finding that some people are using it with other brand speakers?
As well.
Yeah.
But this was not our goal, because we're a speaker manufacturer known for 20 years now for our own speakers. And the problem, if we enter the field of amplifiers, who are we to tell the world that we are now much better than, you name it?
Sure.
But for our speakers, and we have enough customers all around the world, we have over 4,000 customers now. We have a very good tool to show them where it could lead to.
Sure.
And even if a customer does not like it, it's helpful for him.
Right. Yes.
Because if he likes better what he has, whatever this is,
Yeah.
I shake his hand.
Oh, okay.
And in the years before, it was always an endless discussion.
Sure.
Because talking about sound is like dancing about architecture. It leads to nothing.
Subjective.
And so subjective. But now with the Model 3 at hand, I can always say, make sure you have it available. Ask our distributor, even if he doesn't have it on stock. It's a matter of a week to send it over. And it's an easy to ship box. I would be silly not to use it.
Sure.
For that purpose.
Yeah.
But we will do something a bit more manly,
Right.
a bit more
Larger and with
larger and more serious, so to
Right.
speak. Because in some markets we are having trouble to market it because people don't take it serious enough. They appreciate
the performance, but right.
But they say, well, but I'm in for something bigger, something more expensive, and maybe they choose for an intermediate solution through the Model 3 because it's, as I said, it may not be the very best amplifier. They can find something better. But when they have the Model 3 available, they can take their time for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on the other hand, we realize that it's a market for us.
Yeah.
So if we had something available that is more fitting the price range, especially of the bigger speakers we offer,
Yeah.
it could be also a very nice market for us.
Sure.
And we will have some very nice ideas about that.
Terrific. Now, are you able to tell us some of the ideas just very quickly, or is this?
Well, it's not confidential. It's just that it's not completely worked out.
Sure.
But one of the ideas that will be integrated to the new amplifier line, which we will hope to demo as a prototype or maybe as a how's that called, zero series
product, as a finished product, right? Yeah.
More or less a finished product, not from series production, but finished product in Munich. Will, for example, be that we have the DC technology that we use in our reference amplifiers, the Model 1 amplifiers, now downscaled to an affordable version.
Sure.
So we will have DC all over the circuitry.
Right.
So we are no longer putting a music signal through, you know, soldering joints, a potentiometer, because every time you send a music signal, it goes from plus to minus, and at the changing point, 0 volt.
Yeah.
It needs a little extra time to start again in whatever direction, and this little breakup,
It's like a lag. Yeah.
is audible.
Yeah.
So we modulate the signal to a DC.
Right.
You could call it a Class A approach, but usually the Class A approach stops at a potentiometer.
Right.
Because if you have DC on a potentiometer and move the pot,
Yeah.
what will you get?
Oh, okay.
Or even worse.
Worse. That's right. Yes.
DC will make noise.
Right.
But we found a way to avoid this noise.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So it's completely quiet.
Is that unique?
It's unique. It's a patented.
Oh,
So
okay.
we applied for it.
The G2 evolution, is that going to apply slowly throughout the chain? Which is the next model to get the G2 treatment?
Meanwhile, all models have been switched to G2. It makes no sense for us to go parallel with 2 lines.
Right.
We had a certain transition period, of course,
Yes.
from stock, but you can say since the beginning of 2010, or maybe by mid of 2010, the G2 completely took over.
Sure, sure. Now the horn speaker concept is gaining popularity. You know, there's more. Yes, that's right. There's more brands out there, and there's more enthusiast awareness of horn speakers.
More people that see the logic.
Yeah,
I would
well,
say.
okay, yes. What sets Avantgarde apart from other horn designs?
I'd say most important is horn technology is nothing new.
That's
Because
right.
horn technology is not something you design. It's given by nature, it's
Yeah.
physics. So it depends on what you make of it. And our unique approach for sure is how we produce the horns. This is one. So usually if you go for small volumes, and we are not talking big volumes with Avantgarde Acoustic,
Sure.
we are selling between 250 and 300 pairs a year, which is nice. Absolutely, we're happy with that.
Sure.
But hey, this is for some this is absolutely ridiculous. They would
Right.
not even accept it for a day. So what we tried is to have the horns as perfect as possible without overworking them too much. Because this is the problem if you go for low volume technology like laminating with GFK or with glass fiber or whatever,
Sure.
or wood.
Yeah.
Because if you cut it out of wood, you don't pay the horn,
Right.
you pay the rest
Right, I
that
see.
you have to cut away,
Yeah.
which makes it, which can make it very expensive.
Expensive. That's
Yeah.
right.
And same if you work laminated, because then your surface will be horrible in the first place, and you have to overwork it a lot to get it smooth. So we decided for pressure molding,
Yeah.
which is crazy for low volumes because the tooling is very, very expensive. That's where our money is in. But over time, you have the advantage that horn number 1 and horn number 4999 is the same.
Exactly identical. Yeah. Yeah.
It's identical in its properties, it's identical in its shape, it's identical in its processing later on for the lettering and so on.
Sure.
So this is something that we can, you know, keep on, and never have to step back or have to compromise in that
Sure.
quality. That's number 1, and secondly, we use some proprietary driver technology. So mostly horns are used exclusively with compression drivers, but most of our mid-range drivers are not compression drivers. So we're using a cone with a dome glued to it,
Right.
and this dome is a special geometry, so that already in the beginning, in the horn's throat, you get a spherical wave.
Okay, yes.
And by this, you get such a smooth transition that there will be no reflection, no breaking off of the waves, which can easily happen. And this is what makes horns honk.
I was going to say that nasal quality that some horns have, that would basically
Because this
bypass
emphasizes or cancels
Sure.
some frequencies in this. Depending on the music, you can easily hear it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, just very, very briefly, what do you like about horn technology in general, or horn designs? Yeah.
When I listen to a voice or to a single instrument or you name it, it doesn't matter. With the horns, I learned that my biggest hearing organ is not my ear, or my skin.
Right, okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for that. We'll finish on that note.
You're
Thank you.